could read that because that's a prophecy. All right, Zechariah, the 3rd chapter. Okay, and for those who don't know, right here in this chapter here in Zechariah, Joshua the high priest, he's alive today. All right, and that's for those brothers who don't know, that's the elder Ariah. All right. Now we're gonna go to right, because right now he's not in his right state of mind, but he will be put in his right state of mind in time to come, very soon. So now we're gonna go to Zechariah, the 3rd chapter, and let me see. We start at the first 3 and 1. And it says, and he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments, meaning his mind was corrupt, and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, take away the filthy garments, meaning that filthy garments represents unrighteousness, wickedness, from him. And unto him he said, behold, I have caused thine iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with a change of raiment, meaning a new mind, in righteousness. And I said, let them set a fair mitre upon his head. All right, because the fair mitre here represents a right mind, you know. But that also goes into the dress code of the Hebrew Israelites, right? And clothed, and who was Joshua? He was a high priest, he was a Levite. But like we read in Revelation the 5th chapter, that we are all going to be a nation of kings and priests. Okay. So Levite no more is going to be the only tribe that's able to be a priest. Now anybody from all the tribes of the nation of Israel could be priests now. All right. And it says, so they set a fair mitre upon his head and clothed him with garments, and the angel of the Lord stood by. Okay, so that was Zechariah, the 3rd chapter, in the 5th verse. So now we're going to go into how you go about to make this mitre. Okay. Now, you have to, according to the law, when you choose out your garment, your cloth to make your garment or your mitre, make sure it is of 100% material, 100% cotton, 100% wool, okay, 100% linen. All right, these are the main fabrics that you should get. All right, because they're natural and they breathe better, and they're lawful according to the law of the Most High. Okay, don't get nothing that's 50%, you know, or 30-70, or 40-60, anything like that. All right, make sure when you talk to the person in the fabric store that they give you the right thing. Another thing, when you're choosing your material, don't get all crazy and exotic. You know, Israel are a bunch of characters. You like what you like, but the main thing is, stick to, solid, this ain't no commandment, but I'm just saying, best, try to keep it plain, try to keep it plain, you know what I'm saying? Don't go crazy, with designs and crazy and madness, man. Stick as plain as you can, be, but now, if you wanted this mitre that I have here, as you can see, if you was to measure this with a ruler, the width of this mitre is about 1.5 inch. Now to get that, you gotta cut your material. First of all, when you go and ask for your material, you have to get your material at least 3 to 5 yards in length. Now they may pull out this big roll of material and pull it out and cut it, and it may be more than what you want, you know what I'm saying? So maybe there's other brothers that want mitres that you can make these mitres for, you know what I'm saying, of whatever material is left over for you, so you get about 5 yards of material, you have them cut it. But when you go to make your own mitre, to get like a good width like this, you don't want nothing too wide and too crazy. I mean, you can, that's up to you. But this is a good dimension here, a good width, all right? to get like a 1.5 width MITRE, you have to have let me see, you have to have at least let's say 6 inches in width of material. That's your initial cut. Let's say 6 inches, right? Because this is what you're gonna do. Now this is sewn right here, right? I sewed this right here at the seam. Okay. Now when you open this bad boy up, okay, if I was to take out the seam and unstitch it, so to speak, it'll open up to be like 6 inches. But what you do, you fold that 6 inches, then it becomes 3. Then you sew it. All right. Now, this is the way I made this one was a little bit tougher. What you could do is you take that 6 inch of material in width. All right. You fold it. It becomes 3. All right. Now what you do is you sew the borders of it. Okay. Sew it the complete 3 to 5 yards of material in length that you got. Now at that point, what you do is you take that material, and once you sew it, okay, once you sew it along the seams, okay, make sure that it's completely sewed. What you do is you take that same material and you invert it. All right, you turn it inside, or I'm sorry, at that point outside in. So you take it as if you would take a sock, as if you take it, let's say that the sock was inside out. Then what you do is you're gonna put that material outside in. Okay, reverse the complete 3 to 5 yards of material. So that way it'll seem that you will have like pretty much like an invisible stitch along here. You're not gonna have the outside of your stitch on the outside, unless you want to. You can do that too. It'll be an easier way for you if you want. But to make it look a little neater, that's what you would do. Okay. So once you invert it, or you have that outside in, in that sock form like I showed you. All right. What you're gonna do at that point, it was 6 inches, right? You closed it, you sewed it. Now you're gonna have what, 3 inches in width. You take that 3 inches and you fold that, and you will have what, about 1.5 inches in width for your MITRE. Okay. And then what you're gonna have this long piece of material. And what you do, you roll it. You roll that material, okay? You roll it just like this. You know what I'm saying? You roll it, keep it in a roll, and it's better to handle it like this, right? When you're about to wrap your head with it, it's better to handle it like this, to have it this way, in this form, because this is what you're gonna do. All right? You're gonna take, once you go through your sewing process, all right, and you invert the material. It'll be a good practice too to after you sew it and you invert the material, okay, to iron it all out, make it nice and flat, then fold it, then iron that. Iron all your folds, make it nice and neat, you know what I'm saying? And then wrap it like I showed you. You wrap it like you wrap it as you will wrap pretty much anything, like this. You just wrap it. This particular MITRE, I have fringes at the end. That's just my my stilo. I'm saying, my thing. So what I did was I started wrapping with this first, so that this would be on the inside of the MITRE. So that way, that would be the end. So I will have this end hanging, okay, in the back after it's all said and done. So now this is what I'm gonna do. All right, I just totally unwrapped my MITRE completely, and since I put you could have an end to it, but you don't necessarily have to. But this is how I do it. I did it. Okay, start wrapping it like this.